It might look like I just cried, but for the first time in like 5 years I'm trying these contact lenses again. That's why. So at the end of 2019, exactly 12 months ago, I made a decision to run around the perimeter of my home country, Lithuania, which would approximate to running 1 marathon per day for 30 consecutive days. With no running experience, I gave myself 8 months to prepare. Up to that point, the longest I ran was probably 5 kilometers twice a month. So with all this incredible experience and my naivety, back then I actually started preparing for this challenge, really believing that I can pull this off with only 8 months of preparation. But even somewhat skeptical, I knew one thing for sure: there's only one way to find out.
It's not about winning, it's about fun.
What's that?
Fun is when you... Fun is... It's like... It's kind of... Sort of like a... What is fun? Let me spell it for you.
5 months into my training, I decided to do a 160-kilometer training week, which left me with my worst injury to date, Achilles tendonitis. Despite not being able to run for more than 2 months after that injury, somehow I managed to close off 2020 with a 5-kilometer average of running per day. So now, 1 year later, I have a little bit more experience, brand new deadlines, and a whole new appreciation towards running. And now, let's talk about some, or should I say many, of the lessons I learned so far. Future Marius here. Before we continue with the video, I would like to ask you for a favor. If you enjoy this type of content, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I am working on some exciting projects for this year, and I think you would enjoy. Back to the video. So I will go through the list pretty fast because as I was writing the script for this video, if I want to talk about everything, I realized that the video would get just simply too long, and I don't want that. Lesson number 1. I had no running coach this year, and if I had one, I probably wouldn't be injured in the first place. And that's first big mistake. I bought some books, I started reading and learning as I went, and my approach was to learn it all by myself. Now, I don't think you need a running coach if you are just dipping your toes into running, if you want to see how it goes. But if you're like me, if you want to run around the perimeter of your own country, hire a goddamn coach. Lesson number 2. I pushed too hard, too fast. When I began running, right away I was drawn to running long distances. I did not care about speed. In the spring, I clearly remember when I felt like I could run far because I enjoyed the mental aspect and the feeling I would get after covering long distances. But I also learned that even if you think you can, doesn't mean you should. Doesn't always mean you should. Number 3. I wish I focused more on reducing my body weight first. I wasn't overweight, but I wasn't in my optimal weight either. In fact, I was about 10 kilograms above my natural weight, which increased the inflammation in my joints and tendons. It definitely didn't help. Number 4, 160-kilometer training week. After completing that week, after running for 7 days, I was done. I remember at that time I was ready to do my first 160 kilometer training week, but obviously I wasn't ready. Do I really regret completing that training week and running and making that video? No, I don't. It's funny because actually I came to the same place when I was running. It was probably day 5. I was running through here and I was thinking that I picked up probably the worst week of the year to do that challenge. Because I remember right around this place I was running through and it was so windy, it was crazy. I started feeling like I should probably stop by now, but the only thought I had in my mind is that I knew I have to finish this. I knew I have to complete this training week because I feel that so many things in life and I would start something and I wouldn't finish. I would be just so close from finishing and I would quit. But not that time. I knew I have to finish and complete that week. Number 5, shoes. After my Achilles injury, I picked up this book called Born to Run. I remember as I was reading this book and not being able to run, I realized that shoes could be actually one of the main reasons for my Achilles tendonitis injury. Not something I would ever think before I picked up this book, because I thought I got one of the best shoes I could buy on the market. Now I truly believe that more minimal, less cushioned, zero drop shoes are the way to go. Do not buy into the fancy advertising and all the newest injury reducing shoe technologies, because it's all fucking bullshit. And speaking of the shoes I spent the most in running in 2020 are these Rincon Hoka One Rincons, and I highly do not recommend them. They suck. Lesson number 6, consistency over intensity. For me, it took about a year to realize that in order to run far, I don't have to go balls to the wall every other day. Looking back now, I realize that right now, I would be in so much better shape if I ran those 5 kilometers every single day throughout 2020, rather than having most of my mileage piled up at the end of the summer. But lesson learned, consistency is key. So those are the big standout lessons after running an average of 5 kilometers per day throughout 2020. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there are so many other aspects I didn't even touch upon, like flexibility, my nutrition, stretching, core strength, and many very specific aspects when it comes to treating my Achilles tendonitis injury, because that in itself required a lot of research and testing on myself. Even to this day, I am not 100% recovered, and that's pretty scary. I had no idea it would take so long to recover from this injury, but again, that's probably my fault because I ran through it for the most part. Now the obvious question might be, will I still be attempting to run those 30 consecutive marathons? And the answer is absolutely. It's not something I'm gonna quit so easily, but with that said, I am giving myself much more time than I originally thought I would need, obviously. The date right now is set to 2022 summer, which gives me another year and a half to prepare. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button for future uploads and to see firsthand how I get on with this preparation. I'm gonna upload some other different races I'm gonna take part and running challenges I'm gonna document as well. Finally, thank you for watching, and for all of your comments. Also, thank you for watching. You guys are amazing. so far I had not a single negative comment on my channel, and that's pretty rad. That's been it. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video next week.